So 12 is the number that works here because it's got 6 factors, it's a multiple of 4, and it's 1 less than a prime. Okay, 20 is 1 less than 21. Is 21 prime? No, because 3 and 7 go into it. So 20 could have been eliminated. 36, if you were to list out the factors of 36, you would have, are there 9? You would have more than 6. 9 goes into 36, you're saying? Okay, so 36 does have more than 6 factors, so that one gets eliminated there. And then 50 is 1 less than 51. 51 is not a prime number. 3 goes into 51, so that one gets eliminated as well. Good. Second question, which of the following lists all of the factors of 36? So this is the one, I think, Mr. Welsh, is this the one you were saying that we could eliminate some, or was it the other one?
That was the first one.
Oh.
There was only one that was 1 less than prime.
Okay. All right.
You can eliminate on both.
Oh, yeah, you can eliminate on both. So if I'm looking at this one, this is one where right off the bat, I was able to eliminate 2 choices because it was missing to me what is considered kind of the most obvious factor pair. Which 2 do you think I eliminated right off the bat here, Blake?
B and D.
B and D. Which factor pair were B and D missing that is a fairly, I feel like, obvious one? Griffin?
1 times 36.
1 times 36 was missing. So that right off the bat I could eliminate. A and C are pretty similar. Which one's correct, Gus?
C.
C. What did C include that A didn't?
A 6.
Yeah, A was missing that 6.
1 little 6.
1 little 6 made all the difference. Very good. Nice job. Questions on that? Okay, here we go. All right, so let's start with defining GCF and LCM, making sure we understand what they are. So GCF stands for greatest common factor, and greatest common factor means that it's the greatest or the largest number that is a factor of 2 or more numbers. So if I said I wanted the GCF of 10 and 35, what I'm basically saying is I want to know what is the biggest number that fits evenly into both 10 and both 10 and 35. So if I were to list out the factors of 10, list out the factors of 35, what's the biggest number that fits into both of those? That's GCF. Okay, we're just defining things right now. Okay, the LCM stands for least common multiple. And least common multiple means the smallest, the least multiple that 2 numbers have in common. So if I wanted the LCM of 10 and 35, that would mean me saying, okay, if I were to list out multiples of 10, which yesterday, remember we said, how many numbers or how many multiples does each number have?
At least 2.
How many multiples? You're thinking factors. How many multiples?
Infinite.
An infinite amount of multiples. So I could list out multiples of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and then list out multiples of 35, 70, 105, 140. Whew, that could get exhausting. And figure out what's the smallest multiple that they both shared. That's what least common multiple is. Okay? So let me show you a process that works for this. We're going to use something called the ladder method. And before we show you that, I want to show you kind of the long way of doing this, and it's kind of what I just explained. So on this slide, it's 12 and 18. If I was trying to find the greatest common factor, what I could do is I could take 12 and say, okay, what are all of the factors of 12? Let's go through and list factor pairs of 12.
1 times 12.
1 times 12, what else?
2 times 6.
2 times 6.
3 times 4.
3 times 4.
And that's it. Because if we did 4 times 3, that'd be
That's a repeat, so we're done. Okay, let's do the same thing with 18. What are the factors of 18?
1 times 18.
1 times 18.
2 times 9.
2 times 9.
3 times 6.
3 times 6.
And that's it.
4?
No, not for 4, not for 5.
All right.
6, but that's a repeat.
So then we can go through and say, well, what are the common factors of those two? What goes into both of them? Well, I see they both have a 1, they both have a 2, a 3, and 6. So those are what we call our common factors, but what we would say is our greatest common factor, the biggest number they both share, Weston,
Is 1.
that's the smallest. We're looking.
The greatest would be 6.
Yep, so our GCF here is 6. Okay, that didn't take too long, but what if I was looking for the GCF of 48 and 72?
That'd take a little bit longer.
It's going to take longer to list out all those factors, right? And that's just GCF. Now I need the least common multiple. So let's list out multiples. I've got 12 and 24 and 36. This 48, 60. I'm going to try to fix this Apple Pencil at some point. 72. Problem is, I don't know when I'm supposed to stop. Well, now let's jump to 18. 18, 36, 54, 72. What am I doing? 90. Stop. Why? Oh, I've got 72. Was there anything else they had in common?
No.
36. So their LCM, their least common multiple, they've got 36 and 72 in common, but the least common one was a 36. Okay, again, I can do that to find my GCF and LCM, but that's going to be pretty time consuming for two numbers, especially the bigger the numbers get. So instead, we're going to use what we call the ladder method. So this one is not in your notes. All I want you to do is watch what I do, and then we'll start adding some to your notes. It might take a couple of run-throughs and a couple of ladders before you're like, okay, I kind of understand what's happening here. So for the ladder method, what you're going to do is you are going to just set your numbers up. So literally, it doesn't have to be super straight, fancy lines. I'm going to put 12 and 18 on my paper. I'm going to draw this vertical line running down the side, and then I'm going to add some horizontal lines that make it look like a ladder there, okay? Just real quick, sketch that up. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at 12 and 18. You're going to see I've got two ladders up here because I'm going to show you two different ways, okay? Let's start here with 12 and 18. I'm going to ask myself, what are some common factors of 12 and 18? Again, it's great if you want to copy this in your notes. For this one, I would prefer that you just watch what I do so that you're watching the process, and then you're going to have time to copy some in your notes, okay? What are some common factors of 12 and 18? What are some numbers that go into both 12 and 18? Gus, give me one.
2.
2. What else, Liv?
1.
1. What else?
3.
3. What else?
6.
6. Yeah, it's actually those same factors we just highlighted over here. You guys hit all of them. 1, 2, 3, and 6. So I'm going to pick one of those, except for 1. 1 is not going to help us here. I'm going to pick any of those other ones, bless you. And I'm going to pull it out of those numbers. So I'm going to pick 2 for this example. 2 is a common factor. I'm going to put it off to the side of the ladder there. So what I'm saying here is 12 and 18. A common factor is 2. And think of it as I'm pulling that 2 out of both of those numbers. So when I pull that 2 out, I'm going to divide both of those by 2. So what's 12 divided by 2? 6. I'm going to write that on the next level of my ladder. And what's 18 divided by 2? 9. And I'm going to repeat this process, and I'm going to ask myself now for 6 and 9, what common factors do they have? Jonah. 3. What else? 1. Those are the only common factors. Again, if I divide it by 1, I'm going to end up with the same thing. So let's pick 3. I'm going to pick that 3 out to the side. Again, I'm pulling the 3 out of the 6 and the 9, so I'm putting it next to them, and I'm going to divide by 3. What's 6 divided by 3? 2. What's 9 divided by 3?
3.
Okay, and I'm going to repeat my process. What common factors do 2 and 3 have? Miriam.
So, what's the 2 like on the other side of the line?
That's the factor they had in common. So now I'm just looking at this 2 and this 3, and I'm asking myself, what numbers go into both 2 and 3?
3 goes into 6.
So you're thinking multiples. We're thinking factors, though. Anais? 1. What else? Nothing. Just 1. So if I were to pull a 1 out and divide by 1, again, I'm going to have the same thing. So once I get to this point of my ladder, and there are no common factors aside from 1, I'm done making my ladder. Okay? I'm going to pause here. Anyone have questions yet? Okay, watch what I'm going to... Oh, Weston.
What's this supposed to help us find out again?
What? This is helping us find GCF and LCM. I'm going to show you how to do that right now. Okay? All right, so watch what I do to get GCF and LCM. To get the GCF, I'm going to group, and I like to draw a G around them, to group those together. Any factors I pulled out to the side, I'm going to group together and I'm going to multiply those. So I pulled out a 2 and a 3, and I'm going to multiply 2 times 3, which gives me 6, which is exactly what I said the greatest common factor was over here.
What if you do it with
Hang on. You're getting ahead of yourself. I'm going to show you the what ifs. Watch what happens with the LCM. LCM, I'm going to envision that I'm drawing an L on my ladder, the outside of my ladder. So I'm going to take any factors I pulled out to the side, which again were the 2 and the 3, and the very bottom row of my ladder, 2 times 3 again, and I'm going to multiply all those together. 2 times 3 times 2 times 3. So 2 times 3 is
6.
times 2.
That's 12.
12 times 3.
36.
36. Let's go back and check that. Oops. This Apple Pencil is going to be
That is weird.
my demise. 36. And if we look back at what we did before, we said the LCM was 36. Now, it took us a little while to work through that ladder because I was teaching it to you for the first time. You're going to be able to do these faster, and it's going to be a lot faster than listing out your factors and multiples. Now, my guess, Gus, is that you were getting ready to ask, what if I didn't pull a 2 out first and I pulled something else out? Let's look at that real quick. I'm going to tell you right now, the bell's going to ring here in just a second. I want to show you, and we'll go to class after I get through this one. So if I didn't pull out a 2, what if I pulled out, let's say, this 6? Stay put and watch this. It's okay if you're going to be a minute late. You're just going to a class here. That's it. What if I pulled out the 6 instead? 12 divided by 6 is 2. 18 divided by 6 is 3. 2 and 3. Oh, we said they didn't have any common factors. Don't pack up, just watch. I'll let the other teachers know you're going to be a minute late. You're fine, okay? 2 and 3 don't have any common factors. Let's do our GCF and our LCM. GCF, we said we're grouping anything to the side and multiplying it together. 6 is the only thing I pulled out, so 6 is just our GCF. Same thing we had before. LCM, I'm making that L. Anything on the side and anything on the bottom, I'm multiplying together. 6 times 2 times 3. 6 times 2 is 12. 12 times 3 is? I get the same thing. So what's nice about this method is I might pull a 2 out first. Jonah might pull a 3 out first. Gus might pull a 6 out first. But even though our ladders look different, we're still going to land in the same place for GCF and LCM. Okay? We're going to pick up there tomorrow.